All right, so we're going to look at some of the word problems that go with equations. Most of y'all were doing pretty good solving the equations. We'll get a little more practice with those as we get going, but we got some word problems every so often. Now, the thing with the word problems are there are two ways you can get word problems for this kind of problem. You can get a word problem like this one here, where what it does is it is asking you to write an equation. When you get to like an EOC or your check-ins, it's not going to ask you to actually write the equation. The equation would be multiple choice, but it's the same basic idea. They give you a situation, you got to get an equation. So this would be like the first type. So what we got here, we got for a volleyball game, school sold X student tickets for $3. They sold 4 more than twice as many adult than student tickets for $5. Total ticket sales were $235. So we just kind of got to piece together what we know. First off, what's our total? 235. So, whoops. So we got 235 there as our total. How many student tickets do they sell? How many student tickets? X. Yeah, literally says there in the problem. X. And how much is each student ticket? $3. So to figure out like the total cost on the student tickets, you would multiply 3 times X. All right, that part fairly easy. The adult tickets is where this one gets a little more complicated. The adult tickets, just like we had the $3 for the student ticket, we're going to have $5 for our adult ticket. The difference is on how many adult tickets were sold. What's it say about those? 4 more than twice as many adult than student tickets. So 4 more than twice as many. How would we show that? Two x plus 4. And what we're going to do, we would put that in parentheses just because that whole 5 gets multiplied by the whole thing. Okay? So the twice as, whoops. So the twice as many, really, it's going to keep doing it. The twice as many gets us a 2x. That's 2 times the student tickets. And then it said 4 more, so then we're going to add 4 to it. And there's our equation. Everybody kind of follow on that? Is that like super complicated to piece through? Not really. Like the part with the adult tickets is probably the most complicated part there. But when you see that with like 4 answer choices especially, that's not so bad, is it? And then even better, the ones that are like this where they ask you which equation, guess what? You're done right there. You don't have to solve that. Nothing more to it. Solving it, what it would do is if you did solve the equation, it would tell you how many student tickets. If you needed to know how many adult tickets, you'd have to plug it into like that part there. So, any questions on that equation? All right, so then the other thing that you can have is instead of asking for the equation, they are going to give you a scenario, and then you've got to get the answer. So tell you what, go ahead and give this a try. Joe has $55 or had $55. After he bought 3 shirts, he had $4 remaining. If the shirts were all the same price, how much was each shirt? Sydney? 17's correct. All right, how many of you got 17? All right, a lot of y'all had 17. Some of y'all just maybe weren't quite there yet. How many of you wrote an equation? All right, and that's not as many of you. Do you have to write an equation to get the answer here? No. But if we had the equation for this, he bought 3 shirts. So 3 shirts, we'll call that 3x. Had $4 remaining. So plus the 4, we're going to equal $55. That'd be our equation, right? And basically, if you had $4 left, you subtract 4 from that, you got 51, and then you divide by 3. Y'all that did not write an equation, if you got 17, that's exactly what you did, isn't it? You subtracted 4 and then divided by 3. Okay? Everybody kind of follow with what I'm saying there? Do you have to write the equation? Not necessarily. If you're kind of stuck on what to do, sometimes writing out the equation can be helpful that way. But all right, a little tougher. We got a decimal here, but same type idea. Ben rents a car for one day. The charge is $20 plus 12 cents per mile. He wants to spend exactly $80. How many miles can he drive? Ford, what you got? 500's correct. All right, so same as the one before. Don't have to write an equation. If we had an equation, said the charge is $20 plus 12 cents per mile. So we got $20 plus the 12 cents, since it's per mile. We got the X, or our variable, with the 12 cents. And he wants to spend exactly $80. So that would be what we end up with. You would subtract 20, you get 60. You're doing 60 divided by the 12 cents. When you do that, we got 60 divided by the 12 cents. Remember, when you got a decimal on the outside for your division, we got to get rid of that decimal by moving it 2 spots. That means you got to do the same thing on the inside. So you move the decimal 2 spots. Really, you end up doing 6,000 divided by 12. 12 goes into 60 5 times, and then we got zeros on the rest of it. Okay? Yeah, I'm not sure why the board is doing this, but everybody follow then? All right, try this one. Sum of 3 consecutive even integers is 48. What is the value of the lowest number? All right, anybody think they got it? Cal? Hmm? Yeah, so we got 14. All right, so what we got? We got 3 consecutive even integers. If I were to write an equation, if we start with the lowest number, we'll make the lowest number x. Okay? Consecutive means we got 3 integers in a row. Okay? Consecutive means in a row. Even means, though, they're not exactly in a row. Okay? So if I have 2 as an even number, my next even number is going to be 4, right? It's 2 higher. So my next number would be, whoop, still doing that, x plus 2. All right. Then my next one is going to be 2 higher than that. So we're going to add on 2 more. So we'll make that x plus 4. Everybody kind of follow on that? And then all that is going to equal 48. There are a couple different ways you could write that equation, depending on where you wanted to make x. But so basically you end up with 3x plus 6 equals 48. So you subtract 6, that gives you 42. Divide by 3, that gives you 14. All right, so that's one way to do this. Easier way on this one is without an equation. You'll see these a decent amount on check-in or an EOC, where it asks you for about 3 consecutive numbers. You gotta pay attention. Sometimes it's just 3 consecutive numbers, which would be just 3 in a row, like 1, 2, 3. Sometimes it's 3 consecutive even, like this one, where that'd be like 2, 4, 6. Or it could be 3 consecutive odd numbers, like 1, 3, 5. Everybody kind of follow on that? So just careful with what it's asking you for. This one's even, so we got to make sure we're doing even. What you do is you take the total, and we're going to divide by the number of integers. All right, so we got 3 consecutive integers. We take our total, we divide by 3, and I saw a decent amount of y'all did that. And I think it was Lenny said that was our answer. What that is that is the middle number. Okay? So if you do that, if you just take it and divide by 3, that will give you the middle number. Then you just got to pay attention what you're asking for. If it's 3 consecutive even, we need the even number lower. That's 14. Even number higher, that'd be 18. It's asking for the lowest. So that would give us 14. Everybody kind of follow? And then sometimes it'll ask you for the highest, sometimes it'll ask you for the lowest. I don't think I've ever seen it ask for the middle number, but it could. Why? Won't click. All right, y'all give this one a try then. Similar idea. 22 is correct. All right, if you just do your division, 63 divided by 3 gives you 21. That's the middle number. It says 3 consecutive, so that's just so we got 20, 21, 22. Asks for highest, that's 22. Any questions on that? Very good chance you see a problem where that has the 3 consecutive numbers. So Lacey. All right, so you got 78. That's supposed to be a 7. I don't know what my board's doing. Divided by 3 gives you 26. That's your middle number. This one is 3 consecutive even numbers, so you got to make sure you're using even numbers. When you divide, that's the middle number. So that means we got 24, 28 as the other numbers. So 24 will be the lowest.